The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome to your host, Craig Proctor.
Well, thank you very much, everyone. We are doing a call today on business planning. Our strategic business plan is going to be revealed to you. We call it our 1-hour business plan, and the reason I call it the 1-hour business plan is because in an hour you're really going to be able to get into it, but it's going to take you longer than an hour, probably take you 4 or 5 hours. But if I called it the 5-hour business plan, probably nobody would get into this, and I don't want to discourage anybody, but it does require some time. I'm going to recommend that you make time in your schedule, take a day off, and shut the phone off and really concentrate on your business. There's an old saying, there's 3 types of people: those who make things happen, those who watch things happen, and those who wonder what happened. And for the last several months, I've been talking to you about marketing and innovation because those are the 2 areas that really drive your business. So today it's time to put all those thoughts together, and I'm going to help you make some tough choices about what you ought to be doing, and we're going to be talking about where it is that you want to take your business. So the purpose of this is to help you develop a business plan that's going to give you structure and clarity to your thinking, give you a vision for where you want your business to go, and give you a step-by-step map to help you get there. So this is a great example today of working on your business rather than working in it. Most of us are so consumed by working in our business that we never really sit down and look at what we're doing to see if it makes sense, if there's better ways to go about doing things to actually reach our goals. Many of you set goals, but it's merely just a thought in your head, or perhaps some numbers on paper. They're not really broken down step by step to help you actually reach those goals. So, that's not what we're going to do today. We're not going to, just wish for a certain level of production. We're going to break it down and work it backwards into the smallest details so you know exactly what you need to do to actually reach your goals. Now, I found that most agents do not have a business plan. Okay, and it's not that they're not smart enough to put together a business plan, or even that they don't have the time to work on a business plan. The problem that most agents have is just getting started. So hopefully we'll give you that starting point here today. I mean, I'm giving you the business plan that I worked through for over 20 years. I would take an entire day once a year to work on this business plan. And this was a living document. What I mean by that is I didn't just do it once and then shove it in the top right-hand drawer of my desk and never look at it again throughout the year. I would constantly going back to my business plan to compare how I'm doing versus how I plan to do and making any necessary changes. So you don't have to start from scratch. All you have to do is fill in the blanks. It's really that easy. So I'm hoping that this will give you a huge head start, and most importantly, I hope that you actually engage and work on this business plan, because you'll see that it's really well thought out, and it's going to help you break down exactly what you need to do into the smallest steps. So reaching your goal doesn't seem impossible. Sometimes we look at our goal, it's almost like walking around a big mountain, and you look up at that mountain and you think, wow, that's a tall order. Like climbing that mountain that seems impossible. That's why we want to break down your business into the smallest steps. You know what you need to do every month, every week, and every day, and really every hour to help you reach your goal. Okay, so we're on the 1-hour business plan. Now here's the table of contents. The online version, you can interact with that. Okay, so we're going to start with the situation analysis. Okay, as you may assume, that's where you are right now. Let's have an honest look at where your business is right now. Okay, so this is your business unit analysis. Okay, so let's have a look at your business unit analysis. So I want you to take a good look at where your business is right now. So we're going to ask you to fill in your average annual home sales, your market share. Now, your market share may be really small right now, but let's try to calculate what that is. Your average commission Okay, as a percentage, are you charging, X percent? Are you getting that? What is your list to sales ratio? Okay, when you're working with a seller, what is your list to sales ratio? What percentage of the asking price are you getting on average for your seller? What is your average days in the market? Your number of years in real estate. Okay, do you have a team, yes or no? And now I want you to rate your satisfaction with your team members. Okay, now some of you may not have a team at all, so you're going to skip over that. But if you have a team, I'd like you to check off who you have and how satisfied are you with each one of these team members. Okay, with a 5 being very satisfied and a 1 not satisfied at all. What market do you target? Okay, so what's your target market? It could either be a geographic or a demographic target market. What programs do you offer your customers that your competitors do not offer? Okay, so what unique programs do you have that your competitors do not offer in your marketplace? Number 4, how do your customers perceive you? Okay, now we're going to do some research here in a minute that's going to help you answer that. And number 5, what do you perceive your key strengths and weaknesses are? Okay, remember, this is your perception. What do you think you're strong at? What do you think your weaknesses are? Okay, if we can go to the next page. Okay, now what I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to ask you to do a competitive analysis. Okay, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to look at 5 of your biggest competitors. And we're going to ask the same information of them, okay? You're going to be answering these questions about your competitors. So I'd like you to go through 5 of them, okay, and fill in this exact same information that we asked you to fill in on yourself. Now remember, you're not asking your competitors. This is just based on what you know about them. So for example, you could calculate their market share. You could calculate their list to sales ratio by pulling their listings off of MLS or their average days on the market. You probably have a pretty good idea as to how long they've been in real estate. You may or may not know whether they have a team. Okay, what is their unique selling proposition? What market do they target? Describe their advertising. How do customers perceive them? And what do you feel are their key strengths and weaknesses? So that's your competitive analysis. Okay, now, any of the answers, any of the blanks that you weren't able to fill in, you can get those answers by doing some customer research. Now, I had Stephanie in my office do this for me. So what I asked Stephanie to do is to interview 5 of my clients, okay, and 5 clients from each one of my competitors. Okay, so she's going to be pretending that she's doing this independent survey, even though she's working for me. She starts off saying, hi, whoever, and she's getting this information, by the way, right off of MLS. So we're pulling randomly 5 of my sales, my listings that have sold, off of MLS, and we're pulling 5 MLS sales from each one of my competitors, my top 5 competitors. And then Stephanie's calling them using this script. I'm doing an independent survey on the real estate market in York region, which is my area. I know you've just sold your home, and I wondered if you could give me a couple minutes to answer some questions about the experience you had to help me understand the market. So, number 1, on a 5-point scale, with 5 being very satisfied and 1 being very dissatisfied, could you please rate how happy you were with the service you received in the following areas? Price your home sold for, timing within which your home was sold, advertising on your home, customer service and feedback from agent, respect for you as a seller. Number 2, how did you go about choosing the real estate agent you used? Advertising, friend, agent called me. Number 3, what do you think your agent did a particularly good job of? Number 4, in what area do you think your agent could use some improvement? Number 5, would you use that agent? Would you reuse the agent you used again? Yes or no? If yes, why? If no, why not? Number 6, could you please name the real estate agents you're familiar with in this area? And we're looking for at least 3 agents that they can name. And now the survey splits up a little bit. It says, if the survey respondent used you to sell his or her home, go to question number 9 and then close. And question 9 says, can you please tell me what you know about the home selling system developed and practiced by, and you insert your name. If the survey respondent mentions you in question 6, go directly to question 7. Question 7 is, you mentioned Craig Proctor. Can you tell me what you know about the home selling system developed by Craig Proctor? If the survey respondent does not mention you in question 6, skip to question 8. Okay, you did not mention Craig Proctor. Have you ever heard of this agent, yes or no? So I want you to do some research, but it's not going to be you doing it. Obviously, if you're calling your own clients, they're going to recognize you, so that wouldn't work. So hopefully you've got a friend, somebody, if you don't have an assistant, you've got somebody that will do this for you, because this is how you're going to learn what prospects, what customers, clients in your marketplace think about you and your main competitors. Okay, it's going to help answer some of the questions that you have about your business and about your competitors. Okay, let's go to the next page, threats and opportunities. Okay, so you can just photocopy those pages. You're going to do, even if you surveyed 3 of your clients and 3 clients from your top 5 competitors, then, what would that be? You'd have 12 surveys to do. It doesn't really take that long. It could be done in, an hour or so. Threats and opportunities. What I'd like you to do is identify what you perceive to be the major threats and opportunities you see in your business, okay, for the next year. Okay, what are your threats? Is there major competitors or discounters in town? Are there a lot of foreclosures? That could be maybe a threat and an opportunity. And that's how I want to teach you to think, is every time you write down a threat, you'll see next to it is an opportunity. I want you in your mind to try to flip around the threat into an opportunity. So if one of the threats were there's a lot of foreclosure properties in the marketplace, then how can we make working with foreclosures an opportunity, either on the sell end or the buy end? Okay, so every threat, the flip side of a threat or a problem, is an opportunity. So I'd like you to write down all your perceived threats or problems, and then to the right of it, the opportunity that is caused by that threat or problem. Okay, let's go to the next page, historical sales data. Now, some of you are not going to be able to fill this in for 5 years because you haven't been in the business for 5 years, but go back as far as you can, and I'd like you to take a look, a snapshot at your business over the past few years. So I'd like you to calculate your market size. Okay, I want you to write down the number of homes sold in your entire marketplace and what the change is versus a year ago. So in Toronto, there might be like 100,000 homes that have sold, and sales in Toronto might be up 12% in the last year. Number 2, your market share. Okay, so you know how many homes you sold. That's in line number 4. Number of homes you and your team sold. Okay, divided by number 1, the total market size or total number of homes sold. Line 3, your average commission per transaction. I don't know whether that's $6,000 or $16,000. Number 5, gross revenue. Okay, take gross revenue, which is line 4, by line 3, your average commission. That'll give you your gross revenue. And is that up or down versus a year ago? Line 6 is your overhead. And I want that also as a percentage of gross revenue. Line 7, advertising. How much do you spend on advertising, and what percentage of your gross revenue is invested back in advertising? And then line 8 is your net profit. So let's look at your business over the last few years. Go back as far as 5 years if you're able to do that. Okay, let's go to the next section now. The next section of your business planning manual is objectives and goals. Okay, and we're going to start with business goals. What I'm going to ask you to do here is I'm going to ask you to write your top 10 business goals. And as I've taught you, there's 3 ways to leverage your business: through people, marketing, and technology. So let's say that one of your business goals is perhaps you wanted to start doing a tour of homes, maybe a Sunday tour of homes. Okay, well, to do a tour of homes, that's obviously marketing through leverage. So I want you to write down under number 1, create Sunday tour of homes, and then you're going to check off to the right of it, marketing, because that's leverage through marketing. Maybe you want to hire an assistant. Okay, you're going to hire an unlicensed or maybe a licensed assistant to help you out. So you write that under number 2, and you check off to the right of that, people, because that's an example of how you're going to grow your business by leveraging through people. And maybe you're going to upgrade your contact management system, or maybe you're not even using a contact management system. So you're going to write down for number 3, perhaps, upgrade my contact management system. To the right of that, you're going to check off technology, because obviously upgrading your contact management system would be an example of leveraging yourself through technology. So I want you to continue down that list and pick your top 10. You might even want to go back to your super conference notes, where hopefully you've got 20, 30, 40 pages, and I want you to pick the top 10 business goals. Okay, and associate them with either leveraging yourself through people, marketing, or technology. Okay, let's go to the next page. Here's where we really get into the business planning as far as the numbers. At the top of the page, it says what you'll get. So this is pretty much as far as most real estate agents get. They want to talk about what they're going to earn in the next 12 months or how many transactions they're going to do. So I'm sure you've got a pretty good idea as to how much money you want to make over the next 12 months. So I'd like you to insert that there. Now remember, when you're doing this online, right on the coaching site, you can do this all online. You don't need to print this out. It's all this is electronic. So we talked about what you're going to get. Okay, what you want. How much money do you want to make in the next 12 months? Now below that it says what you're going to give and how you're going to do it. So let's start with what you'll give. Line 2 says, I want to work X days per week. Below that it says, I want to work X hours per day. Below that it says, I want to work X weeks per year. And below that, line 5, it says, I intend to spend X% of my time working on my business. And on line 6, X% of my time working in my business. Therefore, I'm going to spend X hours per week working in my real estate business, and this will earn me X dollars per month, which is X per week worked, which is X amount per day worked, which is X per hour worked. Okay, so we're going to work it backwards. You know how much money you want to make. You know how many days, weeks, and really hours you're prepared to give to earn that much money. How you'll do it to the right, how you'll do it. Line 12 says, I will earn an average commission of, you're going to fill in that amount. Okay, what's your average commission? Is it $7,000 or is it $17,000? Therefore, I must close X transactions. My transactions will be broken down as follows. X% from listings and X% from buyers. Therefore, I'm going to sell X listings and accomplish X buyer sides in the next 12 months. Okay, so it's all laid out. All you have to do is follow the steps and break it down and break it down and break it down into the smallest amount. Okay, let's turn the page now. Maybe this will give you a better idea of what I'm talking about. This is your listing and buyer volume breakdown. So let's start on the left side with listings. Okay, if we start with listings on the left side, my goal is to sell X listing sides. So how many listing sides you're going to do in the next year? 100? I know that X percent of my listings sell, therefore I need to take X listings. I sign up X percentage of sellers I meet with, therefore I must go on X listing presentations by year end. This means I must go on X listing presentations per month, X listing presentations per week worked, and X listing presentations per day worked. Now, I'm not going to go through the buyer side, but it's the same deal. Okay, so you're going to start at the top with how many listing sides you're going to do, and then you're going to break it right down to what you need to do every single day. Line 32 is interesting at the bottom. It says, can I accomplish this all by myself? And the answer may be no. You may need some help to reach your goals on the buyer side and the seller side. Let's go to the next page. Listing buyer source breakdown. Where are your listings going to come from? Okay, and we're going to do the same thing for your buyer source breakdown. How many of your listings are going to come from classified ads, from your database for sale by owners, expired listings, your guaranteed sale program? I want you to map out where you believe these 100 listing sides are going to come from. Okay, and then you're going to do the same thing for the buyer side to the right of that. Now remember, none of this is written in stone and things are going to change throughout the year, but you probably have a pretty good idea of what's working best for you and where are you going to get all of these listings from? Where are you going to get these buyers from? And you're going to break it down to what do I need to do every month? How many of these things need to happen every single month to help me reach my goals? All right, let's turn to the next page. We're going to break down each area of your business here, and I want you to write down 3 goals under marketing. Okay, what 3 goals do you have as far as marketing goes in your business? What are the top 3 goals you have, and then what ideas are you going to implement are below that? So, your goal might be I want to do a better job with Google pay-per-click. So one of the ideas to implement is I should learn as much as I can about Google pay-per-click. I should phone Success website. I should talk to my coach about Google pay-per-click. Another goal might be, as I said earlier, you want to create a Sunday tour of homes. So, you're going to have to create up a second sign for your tour of homes that's going to be installed the week before the tour. You're going to have to design ads online and offline to promote your Sunday tour of homes, etc. Okay, next page. Team building. Okay, so I want you to write down your top 3 goals, okay, as pertaining to your team building. So what are your goals as far as your team? Now, if you don't have a team and you don't want to have a team, you're just going to skip over this. So maybe you want to hire somebody to be a buyer's agent. Okay, so ideas to implement would be you're going to run an ad online and offline to recruit a buyer's agent. Okay, you're going to create a position contract for your buyer's agent and a training manual. So I want you to write down again all your goals, your top 3 goals as far as your team goes, and then what ideas, your ideas to implement is really the to-do list to help you reach your goals in each one of those areas. Okay, next page, technology. Same thing there. What's your goal? I want to get a contact management system, or I want to upgrade my contact management system. Okay, or I want to learn how to better use my contact management system or my website, or I'm not using the AMS hotlines, or I'm not using voice broadcasting. Those are your goals, and your ideas to implement are the things necessary to make your goal happen. Okay, next page. Past client retention. I was talking to one of our coaching members recently, and I asked her what percentage of her business came from her past clients. And she said about 15%. And I said, well, what do you do to make that happen? And she said, nothing. And I said, well, imagine what would happen if you actually tried. Good point, right? So are you doing a good job with past client retention, referrals? Are you getting testimonials? Are you staying in touch? Do you have a newsletter that goes out to your past clients? I want you to write down your top 3 goals as it relates to past client retention. And then write down the ideas that you need to implement to help you reach those goals. Next slide. Okay, customer service and referrals. Your goal might be, I want to have a customer service manager. Okay, her name was Tammy. She would call my sellers every single week, let them know how many showings I had on their property and what we're doing every single week to advertise and promote their property. So what I did is I had to run an ad for Tammy. I had to train her. So what are your goals going to be as far as customer service and referrals? Maybe you're going to, for referrals, maybe you're going to create a past client newsletter. Maybe you're going to use voice broadcasting to communicate 3 or 4 times a year with your past clients and your present clients. Maybe you're going to conduct a client party once a year, a past client party for referrals. So I want you to write down those ideas as they relate to customer service and referrals. Okay, next page. And I'm going to go to questions here. I know this is a little bit of a dry topic, but I want to walk everybody through it to let you know that all the work's done. All you have to do is fill in the blanks. That's how easy this is. And if you spend an hour on it, you'll get into this, and you'll like it, and you'll want to finish it up because it's going to make you think about things that you're not thinking about. And we have to understand that if you want to do better in your business, you have to change what you're doing. If you really want to improve your business, you can't be doing what you're doing now. If you really want to improve, you can't be thinking the thoughts that you're thinking now. Okay, so we need you to really understand this, that you can't just wish for better results without careful planning. And this will take you through that process. I'm going to ask you questions that you've never thought of. I'm going to ask you to do things that on your own you're not likely going to do, and this works. And everybody that does this comes back to me and they says, wow, the couple hours I spent on this really helped me actually reach my goals, not just set them and then, not get anywhere close to my goals. That's what happens for most realtors. New Year's Eve, they say to themselves, next year is going to be different, and they have some imaginary wish list, some goal that sounds great, but a year later, they're playing the same game. They didn't get any better results, and they're saying, well, next year will be different, and it never is. Okay, your business is supposed to be designed to help you get more life. Okay, so that's really what this is all about. The reason you want a better business is so you're going to have a better personal life. So let's talk about you now and your personal goals. So I'd like you to write down for the next 12 months, what are your personal goals? I want you to pick your top 10 personal goals. And I want you to check off which of the 6 areas of balance they relate to. So, one of your goals might be, I want to do better financially. I want to make more money, or I want to be more responsible financially. I want to pay down my debt maybe. So you check off financial. Maybe a goal for you is, I've been working really hard and I haven't had time for a social life. So you're going to, make more time for a social life. You're going to check off social. Or maybe you haven't been spending the time with your family, or, going on that vacation you really wanted to go on with your family. So you're going to write that down. Take kids to Disney, and you're going to check off family. Maybe you're just really wanting to get in shape. So, hit the gym, start a workout regime, and you're going to check off physical. Or maybe it's a spiritual goal that you have. But I want you to write down 10. I want you to pick 10 personal goals that you have for yourself. Write them down and check off. Hopefully, you've got at least one personal goal for each of the 6 areas of balance. I really like this part of the plan because We're asking you here to rate yourself. I'd like you to rate yourself on financial rating between 0 and 10. So obviously 10 is money is not a problem. You've got more money than you know what to do with. That would give you a 10. A 0 would be the complete opposite of that. You're really struggling and you don't know how to make ends meet. So I want you to honestly rate yourself between 0 and 10. Where do you think you are right now financially? And what is your biggest weakness financially? If you're not doing well financially, what is your strength and what are your weaknesses? Like, how can we change this around? If you're really good with money, making it and keeping it, why is that? What is your strengths? But how can you improve? What's your weakness? What ideas are you going to implement to help you improve your financial rating? Unless you're a 10, there's room for improvement. That was number 1. Number 2, your mental or physiological rating. Okay, how would you rate yourself? Are you happy? Are you content? I want you to rate yourself between 0 and 10. 10 being you think you've got it all going on and you're just really, really happy with where you are in your life right now. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What ideas are you going to implement to help you improve your ranking, your personal rating for your mental or psychological rating? Number 3, social rating. Do you have a lot of friends? What do you do socially? Where would you rate yourself between 0 and 10? What are your strengths socially? What are your weaknesses? What ideas would you like to implement? Number 4, family rating. Are you spending enough time with the family? Do you enjoy spending time with the family? Are you actually planning things out with your family so you're having quality time? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What ideas do you want to implement? Number 5, physical rating. How would you rate yourself between 0 and 10? 10 being you're really, really fit. You're feeling great. And number 6, your spiritual rating. How would you rate yourself spiritually between 0 and 10? Right? What ideas are you going to implement? Okay, now let's move to strategy. And then under strategy, it says, I will earn X amount in the next 12 months. I will do this by closing X transactions, of which X percent will be listings and X percent will be buyer sides, maintaining an average commission of X dollars. In order to accomplish this, I will. Now, what we're forcing you to do is all the work, all the thinking that you've done, all the research, we're forcing you really here to condense all of your learning, all of your research into one paragraph. So let me repeat that again. I will earn X amount in the next 12 months. I'll do this by closing X transactions, of which X percent will be listings and X percent will be buyer sides, maintaining an average commission of X dollars. In order to accomplish this, I will, and I want you to fill in that paragraph. Okay, we're forcing you to articulate all of this learning into one paragraph. What is it that you're going to do to help you accomplish this? Okay, if we can go to action plan now, Jim. Now, what I've done under action plan, and you can just flip over to the first half of the year. What I'd like you to do is under your business and your personal initiatives, I'd like you every week, I'd like you to write down every single week what you're going to do. So write down your top 30 business initiatives and your top 10 personal initiatives. And I'd like you to commit to one of these, just one of these, each week for the rest of the year. All right, go to the next one, Jim. That's week 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I guess that'll work. So next week would be week 1. Right, so we're going out 52 weeks. So if you were to map out the 30 business initiatives that you want to accomplish and the 10 personal initiatives, but you mapped it out over the next 52 weeks, it wouldn't seem like such a big deal because you're spreading everything out. But you've got to have some discipline to actually work at this week by week by week. And you've heard me say that we have a tendency often to overestimate what we can accomplish in a week, but we also underestimate what we can accomplish in an entire year. Let's go to budget now. And I'm giving you a template for budget that hopefully will help you. So again, you don't have to start from scratch. This will give you a good starting point. But I would look at my budget every single month. I would look at the numbers, and you'll find that the best agents out there know their numbers. The most profitable realtors in the country, they really know their numbers. So we're asking you to create this on a monthly basis. And if it's not you, someone in your office needs to show you your numbers monthly. So if you're underspending or overspending in any area, you can make the appropriate changes. So what is your revenue every single month? What are your expenses? And then we're breaking down all of your different expenses: fees, supplies, lease, rent, salaries, other marketing. Hey, you know your business better than me, but I'd like you to create a template like this. And it needs to be filled out. Somebody needs to do this. Now, if you're not good at this, at accounting, at bookkeeping, then you need to make sure that you have somebody that is. They don't have to be a full-time person. They could be a part-time person. And let's go to the next page, month-by-month budget projection. Okay, so this is what it looks like every single month. So you can compare January with February, February with March, March with April. You're going to know what you're grossing every single month, whether that's going up or down. And then on a monthly basis, you're going to chart all of your expenses. So you're going to know on a month-to-month basis what your net income is. So every single month without fail, I look at these reports. And you're going to know whether you're going up or down or what you need to change. This way you don't get into trouble. If something's really working well, you want to do more of it. If something's not working well, you want to change before you waste more time and money on activities that aren't profitable. Okay, the best realtors, the most profitable realtors, they know their numbers. Do you know your numbers? Now, what I'd like to do is open this up for a Q&A. So let's do this. I know this is kind of a dry topic, and there was no other way to do this, but I wanted to take you through the business planning process, page by page by page by page. I wish I could say that discussing business planning was exciting, and you're going to have a great time doing this. You're probably not, although you're going to learn a lot about your business. I think you'll be amazed when you roll up your sleeves and you start analyzing your own business and your competitors that you're going to learn to love this. Once you get into it, you're going to find this to be a very, very valuable process. And once you start taking these, goals that are in your head, you start to put it on paper, you start to break down exactly what you need to do every month, every week, every day, every hour, you're going to realize it's not such a big deal reaching your goals, that it's very, very attainable if you just do what you need to do every single day. And that's what most of you are missing, is structure in your life. Okay, most of you are missing that kind of structure where, if you knew every single day what you needed to do to reach your goals, I think for most of you, you would do it. Again, the problem for most agents is it's not that they're not smart enough to put the business plan together or that they don't have enough time. The problem for most realtors is just getting started. So that's why I call this the 1-hour business plan. If you just take an hour, you'll get into this and hopefully get excited enough about it that you're going to want to complete it. And it's going to be a process that you're going to want to make a habit out of. Every single year, creating your business plan, but not just looking at it yearly, going back to your business plan several times a year to compare how you're doing versus how you plan to do. So let's do this. Let's take your questions and comments. This is a live webinar, so we're going to go back to Andrea. And if you have any questions about the business planning process or comments, I'd love to hear from you. So, Andrea, over to you.
Our first guest, Patricia Ong. Please go ahead.
Hi, Craig. How are you?
Hi, Patricia.
Okay, I'm trying to understand the volume breakdown analysis, and I'm looking at the numbers that you have. That, like say, number 7, you have, therefore I will spend X hours, and then below it you have 2 times 3 times 6. Is that the total of the 3 figures that you're referring to in points number 2, number 3, and number 6?
Well, hang on here. Let's go there so everybody can see what you're talking about. Okay, so is your question on this page?
Yes, and I'm trying to understand the numbers that you have. I believe those are the numbers that we use to arrive at the figure that we're trying to get at. Okay, look at number 7. Therefore, I will spend dash X whatever hours per week. And below it, you have bracket number 2 times bracket number 3 times bracket number 6.
All right, I want to work X days per week.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I want to work X hours per day.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to spend X percent of my time working in my business. So how many days a week would you be willing to work in your business? Say 5 days a week?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. And you want to work how many days per hour or per day?
Let's say 6 to 8 hours a week per day.
Okay, so you want to work 5 days of the week, and let's say you work 6 hours a day. That would be 30 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what percentage of your time would you spend working in your business versus working on your business? Let's say you spent 2/3 of your time working in your business versus 1/3 working on your business.
Okay.
Okay, so that would give you 20 hours that you would be working. So number 7 would be 20 hours. Do you see that?
Okay. All right, got you. Okay.
Like I've tried to remember, this is the business plan that I used every year. So I'm assuming that all of you want to spend more time working on your business, and I think that's what threw you off. Is it was really line number 6 that throws most agents off, because they're thinking to themselves, well, what do you mean by percentage of time working in my business? Because I spend all my time working in my business, and you don't want to spend all your time working on your business. If you work, if you're willing to work 5 days a week,
mm-hmm.
and you're working 6 hours each day, that would be 30 hours.
Yep.
So would you be working all 30 hours in your business? No. Clearly,
No.
you'd work some of that time. You'd work some of that time on your business.
Yeah.
So I'm suggesting that of the 30 hours that you're working, 20 would be in your business and 10 would be on your business. But the answer to line 7 would be you're only spending 20 hours working in your business out on listing presentations and working with buyers.
Okay, got you.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, great. Let's go back to Andrea and see who's next.
Thank you.
Our next guest is Carmen Frater. Please go ahead.
Morning, Greg. How are you?
Hi, Carmen.
Listen, Greg, I don't want to sound like I'm complaining right here, but I'm really seeking advice here, and this is my challenge with the business plan. That at this particular time, especially our area, it's so difficult to get business, and so I'm spending a lot of my time going out there, showing property, working with people. I consider myself very disciplined. I mean, most of the time I get up 3 o'clock in the morning, I work till 9 o'clock at night, and it seems like I'm not going anywhere because I am just working so hard on even closing escrows and making sure I get buyers that I just feel overwhelmed. When I think about working in my business, like listening to, looking at the webinars and listening to you and all of that, and then actually implementing it, it seems like there is never enough time for me to do all the things that I really need to do, and I get overwhelmed. Do you have any suggestions?
Well, what you're describing, Carmen, was my first couple of years in the business.
Uh-huh.
And what you're thinking right now, and other people on the call that are living the life that you're living right now, you're thinking it's an endless cycle.
It is.
Right? Like how do you break the cycle?
Right.
And here's the thing. You're in this program because you know there's a better way, and every week you're exposed to these new ideas. But your problem is you're so busy doing what you're doing, you don't really have time to implement any of the ideas.
Right.
Right? So you know there's a better way to run your business. If you could only get to those better ideas, you dream about how much better your life could be. Right. But I want you, here's what you have to understand. You've got to seriously look at what you're doing, and you've got to realize it's not working. I mean, an outside observer looking at your life right now would say, well, Carmen, if you have to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and work until 9 o'clock at night, and you're doing that 6 or 7 days a week, you can't be happy with that.
No.
So you've heard me say on these calls before, whenever I felt stressed out and I felt that improving my business was impossible, I would always say to myself, but what's my option?
What's the option? Yeah,
right, because your only other option, if you don't innovate, you're going to die.
Yeah.
You've got two options. Either just keep doing what you're doing and being unhappy, working yourself to death, or you've got to figure this out. So we know that a lot of things that you're doing are just not productive. I want you to take a good look at what you're doing, and I want you to stop doing the things that aren't productive. If you're going to forget implementing anything, what you're saying to me right now is, Craig, I don't even have time to do the plan. Forget about implementing the ideas. I don't even have a couple hours to even dream about what I would like my business to look like. I like what Walt Disney says when he talks about stepping into the dreaming room. And that's what I'm asking you to do with your business plan is forget about how your business is right now. As horrible as things may seem to you right now, I want you to step into this dreaming room called your business plan, and I want you to start filling out what you'd like your life and your business to look like. And then we're going to work it backwards. Don't base what you want your business to look like on what it looks like now.
Uh-huh.
Because if you're basing all of your decisions on what you have now, all you're ever going to get is what you have.
Right.
So here's the starting point. Just write down what you're doing, and I want you to eliminate the things that aren't working for you. And some of the work that you're doing does not need to be done by you. I bet you if I was to follow you around all day long, I would catch you involved in all kinds of things that really aren't rainmaker activities.
Mm-hmm.
And you might be saying, well, what's my choice? There's only me. So maybe we start off with somebody part-time to help you out.
Mm-hmm.
But I know exactly where you are because I used to be that guy. I used to be the agent that worked 10 hours a day, 7 days a week. And that's the irony. I was working way harder then and starving to death. And as I started to leverage myself out through people and marketing and technology, not only did I make more every year, I worked less.
Well, you know, I have an idea. I know exactly what I want my business to look like, which is, you know, the business, the way Craig Proctor tells us to run the business, and my coach, Lester, how he runs his business. The problem is that survival, for example, I go out there and I spend 4 or 5 hours with clients showing properties. It doesn't materialize. You know, I work with them for 6 months, but the survival, you know, I'm in a survival mode right now in order to close transactions, in order to keep the business going, and that is what you know, it's basically the survival mode I'm in right now. And it's very, very, and it's not that I don't know what I want my business to look like. I know, but it doesn't seem like it's happening right now, and I think that's the problem. That's the problem that I'm in right now.
Okay, well, look, the frustration that I hear is a good sign. If you weren't frustrated with your present situation, you probably, you know, wouldn't do anything to cause change. So
Right.
The first thing that is actually good is you're kind of mad about this. Again,
Right.
that's where I got to the point where I was sick and tired. I didn't know what I was going to do. I was thinking of leaving the real estate business. But you've got to do this analysis on yourself. You know, at the start of the business plan, the first thing that we talk about is you. I'd like you to really step back and have an honest look at where you are right now. What are you doing every single day? What you're doing needs to change if we're going to change the results. And you got to be careful, because the immediate response that we all have when we start to question what we're doing is we immediately start to defend what we're doing. I was talking to one of our coaching members a couple of weeks ago, and he was complaining about the fact that he wasn't getting the results that he wanted to get. And when I listened to what he was doing all day long and I gave him some suggestions, he immediately started to defend the business that he doesn't want. And I made him aware of it. I said, but excuse me, sir. A few minutes ago, you were complaining that you're working way too hard, you're not making enough money, and I've asked you to share with me exactly what you do all day long, and I'm giving you my advice on what you need to change, and his immediate reaction was to defend what he's currently doing. And I think that's just human nature. Human nature is we have a tendency to defend the life that we don't want. Because there's comfort in what we know, right?
Right.
So I'm going to ask you the same thing. I want you to write down what you do all day long. And I want you to start to scratch off the list the things that you just shouldn't be involved in, the things that are not productive.
Okay.
Because you're absolutely right. If you don't make some room for the entrepreneur that's within you, then you're going to continue to be the technician running around doing things that other people could do, or being engaged in things that aren't getting you the results that you want to get.
Okay. All right.
All right, so the frustration that you have is a great starting point, though. Because you know that some agents never get frustrated? They just get used to mediocrity.
Yeah.
They just think, well, that's the way it is. I guess I'm just going to work hard the rest of my life, make not enough money, and grow old.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that I do spend a lot of time trying to make money, and in the end, I don't have the money and I don't have the business either.
Look, here's an analogy I want to share with everybody. When I was trying to figure all this out in my business, when I was exactly where you are right now, this is what I quite often thought of. Imagine if you and your family only had one car, and you need that car for your day-to-day life to get to work, but the car needs to go in for a tune-up because the car is just not running properly. You've got a problem, right? You've got to take your car in for service. However, you can't be without your car.
Right.
So what we're asking you to do in the coaching program is, and it sounds impossible, but I'm asking you to continue to drive your car. While you're driving it, I want you to be tuning it up at the same time. It's difficult. Look, if being a success in real estate was easy, then everybody would be successful in real estate, and we know it's not true. We know from NAR stats that over 80% of the people that get into real estate do not make it to their 5th anniversary. We also know that in last year, 2010, the average realtor in the United States sold 3.75 transactions.
Right.
So the truth is that people that win at real estate are very unique. There's not many of us. It's not easy. And I would say it's impossible without some kind of coaching and training and mentoring. And even with our coaching and training and mentoring, what you're saying is, Craig, it's still not easy.
Right.
Hey, you've heard that I've got this workout coach. Now, without me having this guy to whip me in shape, it would be impossible for me to be in shape. I know this because I went many years not being in shape. And I would kid myself every January. Do you know what I'd say to myself, Carmen? Well, next year's the year I'm going to get in shape. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to gain muscle next year, and next year would come and go, and I would still not be in shape. So I hired a personal trainer. Now, let me ask you, is it easy with the personal trainer? I'll tell you right now, it is not easy.
No.
It's absolutely horrible. 3 days a week, it hurts, and this guy makes me do things I don't want to do. But I keep falling back to what's my option.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I could be overweight and die of a heart attack like all the other men in my family.
Right.
right? So what's my option? So those are the tough decisions that we all have to make. And I don't doubt for a minute that you're working hard and you're frustrated, but working hard and being frustrated is not going to get you where you want to go.
Correct.
Because the truth is there are coaching members on this call right now that don't work near as hard as you do, and they're making a whole lot more money by following this system.
So
that's got to right. So that's just got to give you hope. What you want to say is, what have I got to learn? What am I doing now that needs to change? What can I learn every single day? And you just keep that attitude of, and never be happy. Never be happy with where your business is. Never be satisfied. I really think that's the attitude of winners. Is you, no matter where you are, you want to have some kind of dissatisfaction with where your business is.
Right.
But Lester is a great guy. I would contact Lester, let him know about our conversation here today, and if you could email Lester what it is that you're doing all day long for maybe a week, he'll look at that and he'll tell you right away, Carmen, this is what you need to change. If you want to free up some time to do things that are more productive, you can't be doing these things.
Okay.
And we can't blame it also on the marketplace. Because, you started off saying, well, my marketplace, it's horrible. But we know that there are realtors in your marketplace that are doing really well right now, right?
Yeah, and that was actually one other question I had for you, because in terms of looking at other realtors, my competition basically, we are in an area that is highly REO and short sale driven. Most of the successful realtors that are in the market are the ones that are actually REO agents, that have bank.
Okay, are there agents in your marketplace that are successful who are not doing REOs?
Not that I know of.
Well, they're out there. Look, I want you to study these people that are winning, that are successful. There's probably even some of our members in your marketplace. You could ask Lester to point those people out to you and just study what they're doing. Do they have a team? Do they not? What's their unique selling proposition? What's their target market?
Okay.
What are they doing that's different than what I'm doing? What are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? I want you to do a real honest analysis. It starts with doing this on you first.
Okay.
And then picking 5 of your top competitors and saying, they've got such great, successful businesses. What's the difference between what they're doing and what I'm doing?
Okay.
And hopefully, you'll get some great answers, and that'll be the starting point.
Okay, I will do that, Craig.
All right, Carmen, we'll keep smiling, and you're working hard, and that's good because a lot of agents give up. Do not give up.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Craig. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you, and do be in touch with Lester.
I will. Thank you.
Anyway, we're out of time here for today. I truly hope that you hope you enjoyed our call here to our webinar on the 1-hour business plan. And most of all, I hope that you actually do something with this. Get into this. Okay, take an hour of your time. Okay, let's not make excuses. All of us can free up an hour to start working on this and actually not just setting our goals, but let's make sure that we reach our goals over the next 12 months. And I'm helping you break it down. This is such a vitally important process. I would recommend that you just, shut your cell phone off, take a couple hours, go somewhere where no one's going to disturb you, and just start to think about what you want your business to look like and start to map out how you're going to get there. And we're going to do as an organization whatever we can do to help you reach your goals. So thank you very much for attending the webinar today, but we're out of time, and we'll talk to everybody soon. Take care.